Hello everybody and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are here in the Diamond Aircraft 642. We're just east of Lake Tahoe. It looks like there's a haboob, which is a dust storm picking up here. I'm going to turn off the parking brake. We're going to roll down the runway here. Got to get up to 120 miles an hour, and then we'll translate back on the yoke, taking us up from being on the ground to flying. Won't go straight. Whatever reason. Here we are at 100. We're going to hit a sign. That'll be the end of the flight. Nope, doesn't count. 113. Oh, 117. Pulling back. Landing gears up. Then flaps. Gonna look down for flaps. Gonna look down for my flaps. Please and thank you. Yep, and flaps are good. Alright. How do you reset? Will you reset? Alright, okay, that's fine. I was kind of hoping to show you Lake Tahoe here, but apparently there's some kind of storm has kicked up, and the visibility is not that great. It's okay though. We're actually pointed. Oh, hold on. We might not be pointed the way we want to go here. 5,000 feet already. We took off like a rocket ship. Let's see if I can get this thing turned headed west. Man, it looks like snow down there, but that can't be right. That can't be right. Snow in Nevada? I don't think so. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Here's the neat thing about going out to the Lake Tahoe, Carson City area, is that the mountains, when you're in Lake Tahoe, the mountain isn't very big, right? It's not even a mountain. It's just a hill. But for whatever reason, on the right-hand side, on the eastern side of that little mountain, of that little hill, no trees grow. It is an arid environment. On the left-hand side, lush, beautiful green trees. So these mountains that are in front of us that we can barely see, on one side of them, on the Nevada side, not that many trees. I mean, yeah, there'll be some trees, but there's just not many, right? They're pretty sporadic. And then down at the bottom, can I look down? Get me out of the cockpit here. There we go. It is snow. Holy moly. They are snowed in down there. And the weather has gone away, so I can actually see and talk about some stuff. Well, that's kind of neat. But anyway, it's just the weirdest thing in the world that the trees just stop, right? Like I know there are trees down there. There's gonna be trees on the side of the mountain, but it's just there's so very few compared to what you see on the lake, on the Lake Tahoe side of these mountains. But this is absolutely just beautiful. I know when I watched the other video and I said the word beautiful like 700 times, and I made fun of myself for it, but there's no other words to describe it. It is painstakingly gorgeous. This part of the country. I've never been there with a heavy snow, and I'd pay a lot to be right there right now to see the snow. We drove all around that valley down there. I mean, from the south end to the north end, we drove around that valley, just checking it out, just seeing what we could see. The coolest thing that we found, and we might be able to see it up here, maybe not. Okay, look right here. See this? This is what I was talking about. There's a hotel. There's a hotel. That might be it right there, actually, to tell you the honest truth. There's a hotel on top of the mountain, and it straddles. Half of the buildings look toward the Lake Tahoe side, and the other half look over there toward the Nevada, Carson City side, the desert side. Neatest thing in the world. I really would like to have stayed there. And that's probably it right there. That's probably the... there's only a couple of roads that go over the mountain, and that's probably one of them right there. Just super duper neat. And I can't believe I didn't think it would snow on that side. I thought for sure this side would have snow. That Hawkeye from the Avengers, he got hit by a snow truck somewhere over there on his he was cleaning his property out or cleaning his road out. The snow truck came by and ran him over. Didn't see him. So I knew there was snow on the Lake Tahoe side, but I didn't think there'd be snow on that side. Oh, look at that storm there. My goodness. Might be kicking up a little bit of a... I don't know what that is. It wasn't a haboob. I thought it was a haboob. I thought that was dust, but it's something else. Anyway, this is Lake Tahoe, folks. This is one of the insanely beautiful areas in northeast California. I would recommend anybody who loves to get out and travel, please make this a destination. It does kind of stink that it is a little touristy, in that when you drive around the lake, you will run across little towns and little shops and stuff, and it has a very touristy trap vibe to it. But just the whole area in general, it's wild. It hasn't been like completely modernized yet, so it's just super pretty. Why am I not 100% behind the airplane anymore? You notice that? Like I'm off to the right for some reason. I guess that's okay. I don't really mind so much, but it might make some of you angry. Like the camera didn't reset back where it was supposed to. But anyway, that right there is the south side of Tahoe. That's where you come in from the California side. So if you're coming from California, from Sacramento, you come in from the south side. The Carson City side is right over there, and you saw one of the roads, kinda, maybe where that hotel was is one of the roads coming from the Carson City, Nevada side up over the mountains into Lake Tahoe. And of course there's another way from the north that goes through the Donner Gap, and that's where the Donner Party was, and that's where that horrible story of those folks who got stuck up there and had to eat each other. It's the Donner Pass is right up that way if you keep going a ways. Some cool places here. One of the coolest places that I can think of, we're coming up on it right now. If you look out the 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in front of the airplane, you see that inlet? You see how there's mountains there, then you see that little inlet there, and you see there's a little island at the end of that inlet. That's called Emerald Cove. And Emerald Cove is super gorgeous. The water in Lake Tahoe, I guess, is some type of glacial water. It has, I mean, if it's not glacial water, it's like snow, that melted snow. But the water has a very distinct color to it. And there is white sand, I believe, at the bottom of that cove. So the white sand mixes with that blue color of the water here, and it turns this emerald color, this green emerald color, especially they say in the spring, because there's more plant life and like algae or something. But it's just so pretty. They have a road that goes around it, and the road starts off high, it goes down low, then it comes up high again. So you get a lot of different views of the cove, and you can kind of see all of it at the beginning, and then you get down there right next to the water's edge, which is really cool. And then on the other side, coming back up, you get to see the whole view that you just came from. So that's kind of nice to see what was underneath you. And there's a park, and again, the park is completely free. California knows what it's doing as far as its park service. I think that park, it has like a Viking theme to it. There's like a big rock the kids can climb on, and I think the name of it is like Viking Park or something. It was Nordic in some manner. But this whole area is just magical. Beyond Lake Tahoe is El Dorado Forest, and it's a national forest, and it's hundreds of acres. You can drive right through it, so you can just pull over and get out and go and do whatever you want to do. So super duper cool. But here's Emerald Cove. We're not going to get too low because I don't want to crash the plane. But you can see the road down there. You can see the road that you take around it. Really just super stinking pretty. And of course they have a little beach right there around the corner. So you can go hang out with the family, do the beach stuff, and then you get to drive around this. Every time we've gone to Lake Tahoe, it's been cold. Even in the summer when we were in Sacramento and it was 80, 90, 100 degrees, we would drive out here on the weekends, 70, 65. It was just always cool. out here at Lake Tahoe, and we'd stop and we'd go play in the water and cool off. The water was always cold. There's places to eat. We'd have a nice lunch and just relax. Super awesome area. You gotta find a home out here. You gotta find a place you can park because, like I said, it is a little touristy, so it does kind of suck every now and then trying to find a place to park. And some of the places you have to pay, and some of the places will be like, oh yeah, it doesn't like me. My airspeed's way too high. It didn't like that at all. You can see over here where I'm getting into the candy cane. You never want to get into the candy cane, I tell you that. Yellow's bad enough. Candy cane is super bad. Let's back off the throttle a little bit here. Engines won't respond to me. I figured out the last time that we were playing, when I plugged it in, the calibration was off. So when I plugged it in, I had plugged it in where the engine was at max, but it thought it was 0, so I couldn't increase it beyond that. It's going to be hard for me to find, but there is a place down here north of Emerald Bay, and it's called Pine Cone or Sugar Cone Park. And it's really cool because apparently there was some widow who was coming out to California, had her husband's money, wanted to find a place to settle down, to get away from everything, and wanted to have a little bed and breakfast. So she comes out here to California, and the train tracks end. Like, Carson City was the last big city, and Carson City ain't nothing. We'll fly over it. It ain't nothing. There's nothing there. But this lady gets on the train from the East Coast, comes out to Carson City, decides to ride it just a little bit more over to Lake Tahoe, because everybody tells her how pretty it is. So she rides the train over to Lake Tahoe. The train tracks just end, right? It just ends and it's done. She gets off the train, and right there in the front yard, and like the train tracks, when I tell you they didn't end at like a station, right? There wasn't like a place to get off with a station and like check your bags and unload and a platform. It was just the end of the tracks. They had to put the train in reverse and go back to Carson City. But she gets off the train over here, and in the front yard of where the train tracks are, there's this beautiful view of the lake, tons of these gigantic redwood trees, and she's like, this is it. I'm going to buy this property right here. I'm going to build a bed and breakfast, and anybody who rides to the end of the line, when they get off, they ain't got nowhere else to go but up to my front porch and stay at this bed and breakfast. And when she built a bed and breakfast, she built a 2-story, 19-room bed and breakfast. I mean, she went all out, and it is still there today. The park is $2. It's $2 to go to that park. It's not free. You got to pay $2 to get in, but you can walk right up there to the front porch of her house. There's like 13 or 14 rocking chairs, so you can just sit down there and enjoy the view. There are chipmunks. There's like 50 chipmunks running around this place. I sat there for about an hour and just watched my daughter chase these chipmunks and try to catch one. And man, it was one of the highlights of my life. Just sitting there enjoying the view, and it was nice and cool. It wasn't 100 degrees. Nobody was out there because we went on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. I have the summers off. So she and I just hung out there and let the little chipmunks run around and play, and so cool. I've flown over that park, that Sugarcomb Park. There's no way. This is one of the larger cities that I was telling you about that's a little touristy, right, that we're flying over right now. And I don't remember going through a touristy place before I got to Sugarcomb Park. You know what? I may have. It might be this little point up here, but I didn't think Sugarland or Sugarcomb Park was this far north. This is the northern tip of the lake that we're coming to right now, and we'll hang a right and we'll go see Carson City, which again ain't nothing there. So I hope you're ready for a whole bunch of nothing. But you know what? That might be where the storm is. I don't know, I might not go over there. But I wish I could fly over the Sugarcomb Point and let you know exactly where it's at. I probably could stop the video and pause the game, and I probably could go look it up. But I don't know. I kind of like flying around. Whatever happens, happens. Oh, and some of you out there, you might be asking, man, what is this guy doing? He's not doing the regular schedule of games. I started this channel because I was playing video games anyway. I was playing them anyway. I might as well, I might as well, you know, tape record me playing them and then put them on the internet. Maybe I get monetized, maybe I don't. If not, I don't know, like build community, make friends, and I have. I've made 6 or 7 good friends on here. I love talking to you guys. I love hanging out. I don't do live streams, but I love hanging out. I mean, anytime someone leaves a comment, I try to get right back to it. But anywho, sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming, especially because I do a video every single day, which means on most days I'm making 2 videos, one for that day and then one for the next day. So sometimes I just get a little overwhelmed, and it's kind of a grind. It's kind of a grind. It's kind of a grind doing the same 3 games, doing 2 videos back to back, and it just gets overwhelming. So I just need a break from all that. I don't mind playing the Going Medieval. This right here looks like a really big town off to the left, but I don't remember. I drove around the entire thing. I made it a point. My wife was asleep and my kid was asleep, so I made it a point. I just drove around the entire lake because I wanted to. But I don't remember going through that town or what the name of it was. Well, looking at it from the air, it looks a lot bigger. Driving on the street, I might not have known how big it was. The only town I remember going to in the north, I stopped at a Subway and I got a cookie. Again, everybody was asleep in the car and I wanted a cookie, so I stopped at Subway. Got a cookie and a drink. Kept on going. Oh, video uploaded. Nice. Always nice to hear that noise. Sometimes it doesn't upload. Sometimes it gets to like 98 and then it has an error. So, always nice to hear that. But yeah, everybody was asleep in the car. It was just cool, man. There's a radio station out here. I don't remember I told myself I wouldn't forget, but I damn did. There's a radio station out here that plays some really, really cool music. It's like 80s, 90 kind of music, like alternative stuff. It's just really neat music that they play out here on a radio station. So I had that radio station on, running around the lake, just driving, hanging out, having my cookie and my drink. Super cool. We're at to give the old engine some gas here. We gotta get over these mountains. Now we'll go out here to Carson City and I'll show you a car. Look at here you go. Perfect example. You see the amount of trees that are here in front of us? It's not like there's a bagillion trees. We're going to get over to the Carson City side, and you're just going to notice that the trees just stop. They just stop. When we drove on the road to Carson City from Lake Tahoe, there was the last tree in like the west or the east, right? Like we drove down this road, and I looked over and I saw the trees just stop, and there was like 4 or 5 of them, and then all of a sudden there was just one. And I looked, and he was the last one from that spot all the way to Carson City. He was the last tree. It didn't go beyond him. He was it. Whatever species of tree this is, they get over the side of this mountain to this area here, and then they're just like, you know what? We're good. We're good. We're gonna call it a day. So Carson City. I wonder if I'm missing it. I probably am. It might be a little bit to the south. But if you look over to the left, there's a lake up there. And I wanted to go to that lake because apparently there's a conservation thing for that lake. Like ducks or waterfowl or something. I never got a chance to go there. But apparently it's super cool looking. You know what? This airfield up here is probably Carson City. KCX. That sounds like Carson City. Oh, look at this. There's another, I guess a subdivision or something at Carson City. But Carson City, there were nothing. Like when we came over the mountain and you could see everything, and like it was flat out in front of you, like it's a basin. And I looked up one side, I looked down the other side, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like I thought Carson City was going to be big because it'd been there. You know, it's an old boom town from the Wild Wild West. You know, so I just thought there'd be tons of stuff there, but there was nothing. There was nothing. We stopped at a place, some kind of Well, that airfield is out there somewhere. I don't know. Usually they have the lights on. I don't see any lights. Anyway, we stopped at some place to eat. Some world famous Red Roof tavern or something. Expensive as all get out. And the girl there was from Pennsylvania, the waitress. And I was talking to her like I placed my order. I specifically said I wanted a club sandwich. Specifically said I wanted a club sandwich. Talked to her about Pennsylvania. Then she was like, "Okay, well, enjoy your time in Carson City." And I was like, "Hey, man, you too," you know. And got my food, went to the car, drove down the road a little bit, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop and eat. I'm not going to drive and eat. I'm going to stop. I got nowhere to be. Not a big deal. Pulled over, pulled out my sandwich, and it was a BLT. No turkey to be seen. Just BLT sandwich. This is Carson City. This is what I know to be Carson City. You see how flat it is? And if you look to the right, well, this video game has a bunch of trees on it. But if you look on some side of the mountains, like that side, they don't grow. They just don't grow on one side of the mountain. They grow on one side just fine. The right-hand side, as we're looking at it, right, to the right, they're growing. But the left-hand side, they just don't grow. For whatever reason, man, they've given it up. But underneath us, I think, is Carson City. This is what I remember seeing. Came over the side of the mountain, flat basin, bunch of houses, like one main street, right? One main street. Some businesses here, and then a bunch of houses. And then out there to the left, guess what? You look up a map of BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, and you look at Nevada, the only thing that the state owns is the highway. Like the highway that kind of goes along the north part of Nevada, that's it. Everything else is BLM. If you're looking for a state where you can just go and people will leave you alone, you move to Nevada, you buy a house right there where you see the left wing? We're going to dip the left wing. The left wing, you buy a house right there, the edge of town, everything to the east of that is yours because it's BLM, Bureau of Land Management, right? Everybody owns it. It's yours, tax-free, 100,000 acres. Get yourself a dirt bike, live right there, open the gate, take off, come back for dinner if you want. But this is Carson City. A whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. This right here might be the road out of Carson City because I remember coming in next to a Costco. And that right there looks like a Costco off to the left wing. We just missed it. That might be the road that I took to come over. And yet again, if you look, there are trees, but they just don't grow on one side of the mountain. You see that? It's just so weird. All right, let's get headed back out of Lake Tahoe. We did Emerald Bay. We did Sugar Cone or Pine Cone Park. What else was neat about Tahoe? Did Carson City. Oh yeah, and that hotel. And we did the hotel. So yeah. So we're kind of far away from our next attraction. But the video is only 23 minutes, so we have some time just to hang out. The next attraction we're going to go to is El Dorado Hills. I'm going to show you the path that you take out of El Dorado to Lake Tahoe, and that's just super duper pretty on account of how they made the road go over the backbone of this mountain. And then you just turn left, like you're coming down this road on the back of this mountain. And you can't really see anything. You know, there's trees off to your left and right. The trees peel away. You hang this left, and you're on the side of the mountain. You go down the backbone to the side of the mountain, and then rolling out before you, for you to see, is the Lake Tahoe Basin, the Lake Tahoe itself. So cool. Gotta get over these mountains here first. Wonder if I should have the sound turned up a little bit more. We have deviated greatly from our filed flight plan. And the cool thing is, like this area that we're flying over here, you could hike up there. It's public land. You could park your car in Carson City, put on a backpack, hike all the way up to the top of this mountain, throw a little tent down, sleep there, get up the next morning, hike back into Carson City, get yourself some breakfast. So cool. So cool that some of these western states are just so insanely lenient with letting people enjoy. Yeah, I know. I stalled out. Pulled the AOA over there on the left. That tells you how aggressive you're being, right? So when you make a turn or when you're trying to climb or dive, you really need to be in the green. And if you push the aircraft to yellow or red, you could bend and warp the airframe because these planes are so light. They're durable, but they're light. And the idea is that they're not meant to be stressed like a fighter. So that beeping was telling me that I was messing up. This is what I assume, by the way. I am not a pilot. I don't know a lot about being a pilot, but I understand that AOA. When I did the training, the guy was like, "Don't move your AOA into the orange or into the whatever. Keep it in the green." So I assume that's like trying to keep the airplane viable for many years, so it doesn't get, so you don't mess with something or break it or bend it. We'll try to abide by that. All right. Like I said, south is how you come into Lake Tahoe from the California side, so we're going to head south over the lake here. And apparently, there's a species, I don't know if it's trout or if it's salmon, but there's a species of fish that live only in Lake Tahoe, and it's their claim to fame to go out there and fish for this particular fish. But when we looked at renting a boat, it was really expensive, so just stand on the edge of the water and throw in a line. And that's the great thing, is that you could just go fishing. The only thing is, when we were at the Pine Cone or Sugar Cone Park, whatever it's called, they wouldn't let you fish from the pier they have there. And the pier, I don't think the lady built that pier. It looks like a new construction. But she also had like a boathouse, and we're talking about the old boathouse that had the railroad tracks and that had the chassis, so that the boat fit on that chassis and could be pushed out of the water on those railroad tracks into a house and closed up. And then if it needed to be brought out, they could open the front doors and slide it out into the water. Why she had a boathouse, why the boat needed to be put up, I don't understand. Maybe because if the lake froze or if it snowed, it could mess with the boat, and bringing it inside like that, like, prolonged its life expectancy or its usage or whatever. But that lady built one of those there, super pretty. I mean, her backyard, where normally you'd be like, oh, this is the backyard, we usually don't use it that much. The backyard of that mansion, she didn't cut down any of the giant redwoods, right? Like, she left all those there. So it was idyllic. It was idyllic to go walking in the backyard through a forest of giant redwood trees, and then go out to the front yard and play with the chipmunks and all the grass, and then right there was the lake. And of course, that part of the lake has a little beach, a natural beach, right? So she had that going for her too. She knew how to live. I have the sniffles. You have to forgive me. I do know that Emerald Bay is not too terribly close to the south part, so I think we're going to need to take a left-hand turn here. How's our fuel looking? Fuel looking, it was kind of getting low. I think we started off with half fuel, so we're going to need to find a place to set this bird down eventually. This flight that I had logged in is only supposed to be 22 minutes flight, but like I said, we've deviated from it quite a lot. Alright. And this right here should be the way out, and we'll go over El Dorado Hills. I think maybe I've gone too far. Maybe this is it. We'll see. Down there, that is by far, that area, the very south tip of Lake Tahoe, in my opinion, that's the California side. That is the most populated side. That's where you're going to see the most businesses, boat rentals, like that right there has been developed an awful lot. Maybe a little bit too much, but there are people who live there and they need jobs and they need opportunities. So you can't fault California too terribly much for making sure that the people who, you know, were born in this area and live here have something to do. Look at that marina. We're not over it just yet. We'll get there. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really seeing the turnoff that I'm familiar with. I don't remember going past that. Oh, here, yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I know where I'm at. I know where I'm at. I saw that road down there. I told myself that's what I was gonna do. I was like, if you get lost, man, just drive over the top of the roads. Oh, I don't think that is a marina. I think that's a house. I think it's just hard to know where the water stops and where the land starts. No. Oh, it's a combination of marina housing. So all those people have docks that can get access to the lake. I see. Okay, so here we go. If you look off to the right, there is a road. I think actually I'm flying over it. Stand by here. Yeah, so off to the right, that road is the road that takes you over to Emerald Bay, right? And it wraps around that other smaller lake right there. And then we start to head out toward El Dorado Hills. There's an airport right there, actually. I just saw it. Of course there's an airport. If Jeremy Rayner, the Avenger guy, lives out here, he's not going to drive all the way out, even though it's a beautiful drive. He's just gonna land at Lake Tahoe. Of course, why wouldn't you? But this is the road that we're going to take out here, and this is the road that goes over El Dorado Hills. I'm pretty sure. You know what? I might take you up to that El Dorado Hills road and just kind of show you it, and then I think we'll turn around and we'll land. And that way when we turn around and come back to land, you'll be able to see the view coming out of El Dorado Hills, and then you'll see what I saw when I made that first left-hand turn. If I wasn't as lazy as I am, I'd go try to find the pictures of our trip and superimpose them on this so that you could just see how pretty the whole area was, but I don't have that much time. I mean, I could do it. I go find the pictures. There are a lot more houses here. Because when you drive, you see where the left wing is? You see that road? That is, I think, the road that I took in. And to me, everything was just forest. But, you know, right here, there's just a ton of houses. And this little subdivision keeps going up for a ways. So there's a lot more development here than I previously thought, which is not bad. Like I said, people gotta have jobs. Just make sure I have it. Yeah, I'm good. Kind of getting a little concerned. Oh, I think that's the road there. I think that's the road. Because I see, if you look over on our left wing, I'm going to bring the left wing up a little bit. There's a road right there off the left wing that goes pretty much south. And I took a road similar to that to go out to that Great Basin in Nevada. And then we came up that basin and we went north. We went south, came around these mountains, and then went north. So I saw that road and I was like, man, that doesn't look like the El Dorado road. This is the El Dorado road that we're coming up on right here. That's dead in front of us, right? So do you see how it winds up the side of this mountain? And the really cool thing is that there are houses up here on the edge. You can see them off the right wing. You can see the houses that like live up here, like these little cabins. And that's just a beautiful view. We'll see it when we come back. But there's a road directly underneath us. Oh, you see little cars flying on it, right? Or driving on it right there. That little road is the road that comes through El Dorado Hills. And just like I said, you're driving through El Dorado Hills. You don't really see anything, and then all of a sudden you make this little left-hand turn. That right there where the engine is right here, that little left-hand turn, that brings you off the side of the mountain, or the backbone of the mountain, brings you right off the backbone of it, and then you get to see Lake Tahoe kind of like stretched out right in front of you. Super duper cool. Super cool the way they did it. And this drive to Sacramento, I'm gonna crash the plane here. I know, I know. I have this thing set up on a TV tray. Sometimes the TV tray moves with the because there's feedback on this yoke, right? Like it doesn't just move, like it feeds back. So sometimes the TV tray moves with the yoke. I know, I know, I know. Get it under control. It's okay. It's okay. I know there's a lot of turbulence right now. You're getting a lot of input from the yoke. I know. But this drive through this mountain right here, going out to Sacramento, so cool, man. So cool. So pretty. Nobody out here. Hardly anybody. I mean, we came out here one day, which was Memorial Day week, or we were out there in June and July. It wasn't the 4th of July. It was some other holiday. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe it was 4th of July. We came out here, I think, on 4th of July weekend, one of the holiday weekends, and it was packed. And we stayed for only like 2 hours, and we went home. It was a bad it was a bad decision to come out here. There's too many people. But that drive out to Sacramento is really, really cool. Okay, now, all right, I get it. I get it. You don't like flying over the mountain. I know. I know. I guess it's turbulence or something. There's wind coming off the mountain, but it's having a hard time. So, and it makes sense. Planes are not supposed to be so low to the ground. They're supposed to be up higher so that the wind turbulence doesn't get to them. So we're going to turn around. We're going to turn around. Turn around. We're going to land at that airport. All right. We're going to try to land at that airport. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. But that's it. That's the view, right? And I know it's hard to see because the lake, it's hard to tell where the lake is right now because everything's kind of white. But trust me when I tell you, when you make that left-hand turn, and you're coming through here and you can't see anything, and you can't see anything, and there's trees everywhere, and you make that one little left-hand turn, and then off to your right, boom, Lake Tahoe, it's pretty magical. It is pretty magical. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and slow down this airplane, even though it probably needs to have more power right now. Where was that airport? Is it that over there? It is. It's over there. I'm not lining up at all where I need to be. We'll give it some more throttle. Oops. Oh, wow. That puts a lot into perspective, doesn't it? Okay. So the airport is off to the left at our 11 o'clock. Go ahead and slow down a little bit. We're going to go ahead and flaps down 2. Landing gear down 1. We'll go ahead and give it some juice here. Need some power. Even though I got full flaps down, I'm not lined up where I need to be. I have to come in and bank this pretty hard, which is probably not a good idea. So what? Flaps are going to come up for a second. Then when I make this left-hand turn, I'll pop them down. Wow. Wow, this thing is not like how I'm flying, and I don't blame it. There we go. Okay. Flaps all the way down. Just bring the power down. We're going to run out of room on the runway. I wonder if the red on the right, if that's the middle or if that's the left side. This is probably a really small runway, so I'm going to assume that's the left side and not the middle. Oh, flare. Flare saved it. Not down yet. Flare. Oh my goodness. Not how you let... Oh. Okay. Alright. Oh, we're going to turn. We're going to turn. We have destroyed the... And we're dead. Okay. So, what have we learned? Number 1, if you are not lined up appropriately, just go around. Just go around and come back. Although things were crazy there. High winds. High winds. Number 2, well, I don't really know the second thing that I learned. I know one thing that I learned, and that was it. But this is at 40 minutes. What a great video. I hope you enjoyed the tour of Lake Tahoe. Beautiful place. You should definitely go and hang out there if you have the opportunity. Thank you for watching, folks. Have a great day. I will see you in the next one. I know I can't fly the airplane. I get that. Okay, I'm just trying my best. Have a good day. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. And if you have a moment, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.